A year ago, the night sky glowed orange. Sirens filled the air and families ran with only what they could carry.
This is my house. Oh God, help me.
The Eaton and Palisades fires took homes, memories, and a sense of normalcy. But they did not take the heart of this community.
It's a new beginning, but it also came with a lot of sorrow.
1 year later, we are back with the people who lived it, the ones still rebuilding, still grieving, and still finding ways to move forward. Today, we share their stories of loss, survival, and resilience.
Hard to believe it has been 1 year. Yes, it is January the 7th. Thanks for sticking with us here on Good Day LA. I'm Bob DeCastro, live in Altadena.
And I'm Jennifer Lammers, live in Pacific Palisades. Thank you for joining us on our special coverage of the Eaton and Palisades fires 1 year later. Yes, we want to tell you about some of those events that are happening to commemorate these fires. Today, Altadena is hosting survivor-led remembrance ceremonies all throughout the day, with the first beginning at 9 o'clock this morning. LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger is set to attend the events to support fire victims. At 10 o'clock this morning, you'll see a wildfire preparedness event in Century City. Volunteers will pack emergency go bags with first aid kits and other fire essentials in preparation for future wildfires. And later on this afternoon, a concert fundraiser is happening at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium. So those funds raised will go toward Altadena Builds Back Foundation, which is a group that supports affordability for homeowners and renters alike. We're bringing you extensive coverage all morning long, both from here in the Pacific Palisades and where Bob is in Altadena. There's a number of events happening all over the area this morning. For more, let's get over to Maria for a check on our forecast to see what the weather's going to be looking like for these events. Good morning.
Well, thankfully, good morning. The weather is actually going to be quite nice. There is a slight chance for some spotty showers. Right now, about a 10 to 20% chance. But if we do get that at all, it should be light in nature. So shouldn't be too much of a worry. However, I think people will welcome that, right? Depending on where you are, you could just see plenty of sunshine. But it will be a mix of sun and some clouds today with that slight instability. It will be increasing the wind. We'll be increasing those gusty winds out of the north and then eventually out of the northeast. Yes, wind alerts will go into place, and this moderate Santa Ana wind event will be around with us. But the good news is, in terms of fire potential and fire danger, because of all the rain we've gotten, it is really helping to mitigate and lower that fire danger. It'll be sunny, dry, and cool as we get to the weekend, with some breezy conditions coming out of the northeast. Here's the big picture, really, looking at this upper level low pressure system, and you can see the rain getting picked up by the radar. The bulk of it will stay offshore to our south, and you can see some heavier cells embedded there. So there's still that instability and chance for us, mainly Orange County, parts of the Inland Empire, and San Diego. In fact, as we look at our future rain here, 6/100th of an inch of rain is possible in San Bernardino through late tomorrow, 4/100th of an inch of rain in Ontario. There's even a chance for some snow as we get into early tomorrow, up into our local mountains at above 6,000 feet. So if we get that, that will be definitely welcomed by our local resorts. Last year at this time, we only had 16/100th of an inch of rain. Today, we talk about 14.11 inches. What a huge difference. Our surplus at over 9.5 inches so far. 65 should be the high in downtown, 69 in Indio, 62 in San Diego, with that chance for some showers. I'll share the 7-day forecast in just a bit, but first let's check in on traffic. Samada has got a look at our freeways and that commute this morning. Hey, Samada.
Good morning, Maria. Good morning, everyone. We still have that ongoing really big issue along in the area of the 10 freeway right there at Waterman Avenue. It is impacting both directions. A SIG alert in place, again, for both the eastbound side as well as westbound side, at least until further notice, as crews continue to clean this up. Two big rigs collided earlier this morning, and one of them went over the center divider. This trailer has a lot of corn in it, a lot of debris, and a lot of cleanup. A heavy-duty tow truck currently on scene, helping to clear out that mess. So we'll continue to keep eyes on that. Sending it back over to you, ladies.
All right. Thank you so much, Samada. Yes, we're live this morning in Altadena, checking in on the progress that's being made here in this community. One of the things, obviously, that is alarming is when you think about the number of structures that were burned here in the Eaton fire. 9,000 structures, many of those homes, and also several schools here were impacted as well. A lot of organizations sprung into action to try and help the students, the teachers, the schools. One of those that played a huge role in this was the Greater Los Angeles Education Foundation, and I've got President and CEO Carrie Franco to tell us more about what they've been doing, how things are looking right now. But you were telling me there were 6 schools that were burned, but this fire really had a giant impact on so many districts here in this area.
Absolutely, and good morning. Thank you for having me. What people don't know is 29 school districts and education agencies were impacted by the fires in Los Angeles just a year ago. And obviously different levels of impact. Pasadena Unified School District, LAUSD, LA Unified School District had the heaviest direct impact because our communities have burned, but the impact is far and wide, and organizations like mine, the Greater Los Angeles Education Foundation, we are the Ed Foundation for LACO, the LA County Office of Education, and so we are really built to support everyone, and that's exactly what we did.
Yeah, tell us exactly what your foundation did,
Sure.
Because immediately it's all about wrapping our arms around these school districts and the children and the teachers and everything, and try to give them as much support as possible.
Absolutely. We deeply believe that schools are the heart of healthy communities. And so something like this, so devastating, that has such a far and, reaching impact, we were going to be there. And so what we were able to do is work very closely with the Pasadena Education Foundation and the LA Unified School District Education Foundation. And collectively, we ensured that every student, every teacher, was going to be taken care of in the immediate, and that's exactly what we did, but also, and more importantly, in the long term. We are here and we are not going away.
In so many different ways, including financial assistance, you were saying. So we only have about 30 seconds left. I want to make sure if people want to help out and still help out these kids and teachers in schools that still need help, how can they help?
They can help by giving. They can help by their donations. We are here to support the teachers. They don't have the capacity and the time right now to be fundraising on top of everything else that they do every day. But our education foundations, we are here to support and raise the awareness and raise the money.
Thank you so much. Oh, Carrie Franco, she is with the Greater Los Angeles Education Foundation. Obviously, so many different organizations out there trying to help. It's not the schools that have been impacted. Obviously, survivors are still impacted. A large percentage of people are still displaced even a year after these fires, and Brooke is there with an organization that is trying to help out survivors with that. Brooke.
Hey there, Bob. Yeah, the message here really is that, just to put it in perspective, here we are 1 year later, right? And most families, they are still not home. I'm walking around this place full of survivors, and, they talk about their faith and how thankful they are to be somewhere safe, but they're not home. They want to be home. They miss, what they knew, their community. They deserve to be home. I think I'm here with Felisa and little Ace down here. He's so cute, but it made me kind of emotional talking to you earlier, because you were a family of 13. Yeah. All of you, your entire family lived on your property, and the blessing that it is to be able to be with so many generations, right, of your family. And that's just gone in moments. Talk to me about that day.
Yeah, that day, it was very emotional for us. We were, we just were in the trying to get out of there, and when we got out, we went and stayed at a hotel, and then shortly after that, we got a phone call saying that the house was on fire. I was just kind of like shocked in the beginning, just, and grateful at the same time that we were able to get out of there. That was my main concern, was that myself, my children, and my grandchildren were able to get out. And we're okay. We're together.
She lost her home and her business. And I think, when you think about the fact of trying to rebuild, you need your place of work. You know what I mean? Like, you need your income. Insurance still wants their payments. Things you still need to eat. There's still so many things. We're looking at 1 year later. Just briefly, if you can, what needs to be done for you all?
Well, I'm looking for more grants to help. I've ran out of the unemployment money that I did have. I'm looking for grants to help pay my rent, because I'm paying rent at the home that I'm renting, and also the church where I'm doing the business. So it's just, we need more funding out there to help us. It's not easy. And I was a capacity at 14 for the daycare. Now I have 8. So my income is nowhere near what I had before.
About half.
Yes, exactly.
You know, obviously, you can imagine the idea of anybody, whatever they do, cutting their income in half while they also lost their home. It's just a really tough space. Thank you for being here with us this morning. And thank you, Ace. All right, I'll send things back to you, Roxy and Sandra.
All right, Brooke, thank you. Now to another top story this morning. Nick Reiner is scheduled to be arraigned for the murders of his parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner. Nick Reiner is accused of stabbing his parents to death inside their Brentwood home last month.
All right, we're going to move on now to a different story. Actually, we do have a report from Christina Gonzalez from the courthouse in downtown LA regarding Nick Reiner.
And yes, Nick Reiner is expected to be in court today for his arraignment. You may remember it was postponed late last year when he was here. He does face charges, murder charges, in the murder of his parents. They were found, Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle, they were found stabbed to death at their home late last year. He was arrested shortly after, Nick Reiner being the youngest son. Now, back last year when we were here, they were not talking about what the plea was going to be. They just postponed it. Today, what we do expect is a not guilty plea, possibly for reasons of insanity. You know, he does have a long history of drug abuse and mental issues, but until we get into court today, we will not be able to make sure of that. But that is the expectation at this point. He was being kept under suicide watch at the time we saw him last year, but at this point, we're told he's only being segregated, no longer on suicide watch. I'm going to be in court and I'll keep you updated. I'm Christina Gonzalez, live from downtown Los Angeles. Back to you.
All right, we'll see what happens there. And new this morning, the United States has seized a Russian-flagged oil tanker in the Atlantic after a weeks-long chase on the high seas. U.S. officials say the ship is now secured, with the Department of Homeland Security leading the operation, supported by the U.S. military. The vessel was first tracked by the U.S. Coast Guard off the coast of Venezuela last month. The seizure comes as the Trump administration steps up its blockade of sanctioned Venezuelan oil, a move that has drawn sharp criticism from Russia. It also follows the recent capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, further raising tensions between Washington, Moscow, and Beijing.
And this comes shortly after President Trump announced a deal for the U.S. to buy oil from Venezuela. President Trump saying that Venezuela agreed to sell 30 to 50 million gallons of oil at market price, with the proceeds from the sale expected to help both countries. This announcement follows pressure from the U.S. on Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, to allow full oil access to American companies or face consequences. The deal is expected to be worth more than $2 billion. In the meantime, all members of Congress will receive a classified briefing today about the operation to bring in former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. That briefing comes as the Senate set to debate a war powers resolution, which would limit the president's ability to deploy U.S. forces to Venezuela without congressional approval. Congressional Democrats are demanding more answers about the strike from the White House, particularly about whether other countries like Colombia, Cuba, or Greenland could be next.
All right, coming up, Jen is speaking with fire survivors in the Palisades who are finding hope despite all the destruction.
First, though, we do have a look at the traffic out there with Samada.
And good morning, everyone. Good Day Late Traffic is sponsored by the law offices of Jacob and Ronnie, and call jacob.com. We have this ongoing big issue. An overnight collision has led to 2 SIG alerts in both directions of the 10, the eastbound stretch as well as the westbound stretch until further notice, right there at Waterman Avenue. You want to make sure you give yourself a lot of extra time. The 2 left lanes in both directions remain, again, shut down due to this collision. It's a live Caltrans camera look right now. You can see 2 big rigs collided, one of which went over the center divider area. You can see that trailer packed full of corn, apparently. Heavy-duty tow truck really working hard to try to get that out of the roadway. Here's a look at some other traffic hotspots.
I looked up and just ran.
maybe we need to seek somebody who does have the expertise to be able to guide us through the process.
If you're getting to an accident,
You're in good hands by dealing with Jacob and Ron.
Call Jacob.
And welcome back to you. I'm meteorologist Maria Pavon. Good Day LA weather is sponsored by the law offices of Larry H. Parker. What a contrast. What a gorgeous morning to start our day on this Wednesday. We do have a bit of a shower chance, though, in the forecast today. So that's a good thing, adding a little bit more moisture into the atmosphere. This upper level low pressure system is still going to be with us for another day or so. And then as that low moves out of here, high pressure behind it will build. Here's one of our computer models. Watch as we see kind of a mix of sun, clouds, and even that shower chance. You can see some of that green stuff here on the radar. We could even be seeing some snow up into our mountain locations as we get into tonight and tomorrow. And then after today, we should be drying out, and it will be a longer period of time where we'll see some drier conditions and even milder to warmer temperatures by the weekend. The offshore flow will come back, though. You can see by these arrows, these winds coming out of the northeast. And yes, they will be gusty at times. We do have wind advisories and warnings going into effect through tomorrow. But the good news is, in terms of fire danger, we have quite a bit of moisture in our vegetation, so that really helps to lower and mitigate fire danger. 64 along our coastline today. Downtown LA 65 with that 10 to 20% chance for showers. We'll warm up to those low 70s by the time we get to the weekend, Monday into Tuesday of next week. 68 for the valleys and the Inland Empire. And even beyond the 7-day forecast, we are expecting dry weather conditions to continue. In fact, I was looking maybe the 17th or 18th will be the first day opportunity for maybe a chance for rain, but until then it will stay dry. 57 in the high desert with some gustier winds, and out in Palm Springs 68 this afternoon. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Maria, thank you. And with that, we want to welcome you back to our continuing special coverage of the Eaton and Palisades fires 1 year later. I'm Bob DeCastro live in Altadena.
And I'm Jennifer Lammers here in the Pacific Palisades. We're at the Palisades Recreation Center. Behind me, you can see, the rebuild is starting here in some of these neighborhoods. That is the good news. There's life. There are people who are fighting their way back home here in the Palisades. And I want to introduce you now to two of those people, Audra and Michael Mallow. They lost their homes in the Palisades fire exactly 1 year ago. Thank you for being here this morning. I know it's a little noisy out here. That is a good thing, though, based on where we were at this point last year. You can see that things are changing here in this neighborhood, right?
There's definitely hope when you come each time we visit and check out the property. There's a little bit more being built, so there's definitely hope.
Can you take me back to that day exactly 1 year ago for the two of you?
Yeah, it was a beautiful day, really, really windy, and we started seeing smoke around 10:30 in the morning. And we went on our roof deck. I went on our roof deck. Michael was at the office. And I just watched it getting bigger and kind of closer. And then I called him and said, come home. And we left. We went to Santa Monica and just kind of waited there to hear what was going on. We watched on TV, and people kept asking us if we were okay. And we said, well, we're not sure. We hope so. And at about 6:30 that night, our house... that was the last ring video we had was 6:37, and a couple hours later, it was gone. Yeah,
it just happened so fast, so surreal. How has the last year been for you?
It's been a challenge. We try to stay as positive as we can. Work forward towards rebuilding and putting our life and community back on the way it was to some extent. So we try to look at the positive things. We try to look to the future. We try not to focus on what was lost.
That's right. You guys are both athletes. You're getting it done. But you did lose a lot of your equipment, I'm told, in the fire. So how did the community come together to help you out?
Well, between Los Angeles, the LA Tri community, and the Tower 26 community, those are our triathlon clubs. They scrambled to get us equipment, to get us the stuff that we need to train. We had to cancel our races, unfortunately, but we're looking forward to getting back out in competition this year.
Right, and you're thinking an Ironman competition, I'm hearing?
We're doing a full-distance triathlon. It's run by the Challenge Company. It's Challenge Roth. It's a bucket list race for most triathletes. So yeah, that's what we're looking toward. Also, USA Triathlon and Ironman came together also for not only us, but all of our other teammates and fellow triathletes in the area to get us equipment and things to get us back doing what we do every day as quickly as possible. So it was amazing.
I mean, speaking of incredible, I'm looking at your hand, and there's a special story here. There's a special ring that you were able to retrieve from your home. You lost your home, but firefighters did recover a special ring there, right?
They did, yes. There were a few people called professional sifters, and you could ask them to come, and there was no cost. They just asked if you felt like giving them a donation to, that was welcome. And we were very happy to give a donation to this angel. He called himself the Angel of Debris, and he came with all kinds of sifters. First, very wide ones, and then they got more and more narrow. And he said if we found any jewelry, we would probably find a lot of jewelry, as one example, because it was kept together.
Right.
And after several hours of going through our debris, he found one piece of jewelry, only one. And it was the engagement ring that Michael proposed to me with, and it was his grandmother's engagement.
See, you're getting a bit emotional as you're talking about this. It means a lot, right?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Because you can say what you want about objects, but they have a lot of meaning behind them. And for you, this is a generational meaning. And a home is a home, yes, but a home is also a museum of your life. And it can't be underestimated that there was a significant loss there.
That's true. That's true. We like to say that it's just things and we can replace things, but you can't replace everything. The things from generations ago that there's just no way to buy, even if you had the money to do it. Those can't be replaced. But we try to look past that. Like Michael said, we're trying to be positive, and we replace what we can, and we're building new memories. We have amazing friends, an amazing community, and we're very lucky.
I know it's a tough day, but it's also a hopeful one. And I know that you see that, and thank you. And hey, that's your new lucky ring. Truly. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I want to take things over to Gigi. She's in the Palisades as well. Gigi has been so instrumental, I have to say, in our wildfire coverage this entire year. You've broken exclusive stories. You've had many impactful interviews. So Gigi, I want to, first of all, thank you for that.
Thank you, Jen. And you were talking about signs of hope and memories that were retrieved. We're going to talk about the memories in just a bit, but I want you to see this house here. We're on Iliff. This is the Cole family home. They've called this property home for over 32 years, and this is their new house. Just a couple of minutes ago, I'm going to ask photographer Armando Hernandez, can he show you the hood to their new stove and oven was just delivered a few moments ago. So that is the sign of hope that in about 5 months, they're hoping they'll be able to return to this beautiful new home. This is the sign of hope. There are about 400 homes being rebuilt right now here in the Palisades, but right next door is a sign of what we're seeing. Take a look. Empty lots, now turned into little lakes because of all the rain we had. No construction even started, and it just goes to show how many people are still in that process of dealing with their insurance company. Some people are underinsured. Sadly, some people had let their insurance completely lapse. Some people are debating, should I return, should I not? There are a lot of for sale signs in the neighborhoods still here. Now, we were talking about memories lost. Yes, you can rebuild the house. But inside the house, there are pieces of people's lives, the things that, like that interview that you just had, Jen, things you cannot buy again. And sometimes it is the smallest things and no monetary value whatsoever, but they are so important. And that's what Sue Cole told us about what she didn't take with her.
We all have saved Christmas ornaments for our entire lives that represented things, and we brought them out every year. And honestly, if I had to go back a year in addition to the photo albums, I think I would have grabbed the Christmas ornaments, because that triggered a lot of sadness, not only for myself but for all of my friends. Everybody was mourning the loss of treasured Christmas things.
And Sue told me that really hit hard this Christmas. It's the little things, the things you can't replace. We'll send it back to you, Jen.
All right, Gigi, thank you. All right, so coming up, a fierce and outspoken advocate for residents of the Pacific Palisades. I'm talking, of course, about developer Rick Caruso. He'll be joining us a little bit later on after the break to talk more about accountability and the reopening timeline for the Palisades Village Shopping Center. More with him when we come back.
One year ago, flames ripped through the Altadena and Palisades communities, forcing families to run.
I saw the fire coming from the back to the front, and it was coming fast.
And changing lives forever. Homes were lost, neighborhoods forever altered, and for many, the road back has been long and still is.
It's still a long journey.
It's a balance of gratitude and grief.
But now we also mark something else. The strength that rose from the ashes, neighbors helping neighbors, communities rebuilding together. 1 year later, we return to the places forever changed and the people who refuse to be defined by the fire.
And with that, good morning, everybody. It's 9 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jennifer Lammers, live from Pacific Palisades.
And I'm Bob DeCastro, live in Altadena. Thanks for being with us for our special team coverage of 1 year later, our remembrance of the Eaton and Palisades fires. We do have live team coverage today. We've got Gigi Graciette and Mario Ramirez. They're both in the burn scar areas. They're taking a look at rebuilding and recovery efforts. And we have our Coco McAvoy and Brooke Thomas. They're live at our various remembrance ceremonies that are taking place today in honor of the survivors and the victims. First, let's get to Roxy and Sandra. They're in the studio with some of our top stories today. Good morning.
Good morning and thank you. Yes, so happening today, Nick Reiner is scheduled to be arraigned for the murders of his parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner.
That's right. He's being accused of stabbing his parents to death inside their Brentwood home last month. He is facing 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances. He has not yet entered a plea. Nick Reiner is accused, again, of stabbing his parents to death inside their Brentwood home. And ahead of today's court appearance, TMZ has learned Reiner has been taken off suicide watch at the jail where he's being housed. And they talked to us about what led to that change.
The policy is that basically if an inmate goes 2 weeks without a suicide attempt, that they will remove, they call it an anti-suicide smock. It basically keeps their hands, in a position where they can't do anything to harm themselves. So they've removed that smock. However, a judge has not ruled on this yet. So until that time, and which could happen tomorrow, but until that time, they are keeping him in a high observation unit.
Prosecutors have filed a special circumstance allegation of multiple murders, making Nick Reiner eligible for the death penalty. But the LA County District Attorney has not announced a decision on whether his office will seek a death sentence.
Developing this morning, there are alleged video confessions discovered in the killing of 2 Brown University students and an MIT professor. The Justice Department says that they found a device with videos at the storage facility where the suspect was found dead. That suspect has been identified as Claudio Nieves Valente. Investigators say that he admitted to planning the attack for years, but they don't have a motive. The Brown shooting happened in mid-December. Valente wasn't found until 5 days later.
Let's go to Maria now with a check of our forecast for today.
Good morning to you. We do have a lot of events going on today, scheduled for a little bit later this afternoon, particularly in marking today and the anniversary of the fires. We have some clouds out here on our live shot looking at downtown LA, and it's going to be a mix of sunshine and some clouds and even a slight chance for some showers. This is all related to an upper level low pressure system that is spinning just to our south. And you can see some of the heavier cells really just staying to the south. However, as that low continues to move inland, to our south and east. It is going to give us some instability, especially on the backside of that system later tonight into tomorrow. It's also going to kick up the winds. I'll go over the wind alerts that are going into effect in just a few moments. In the meantime, it's chilly outside. 33 in Fraser Park. It's 53 in Pasadena. Starting to warm up a little bit in Santa Monica to that 59. It's 32 finally in Big Bear at freezing. It is going to get up to around 41 degrees later this afternoon. More sunshine in the high desert. Low desert areas around 68 degrees. Slight chance for showers from the coast all the way into the valleys and the Inland Empire today. Temperatures highs will be in the mid, maybe even upper 60s for the valleys and the Inland Empire. And then we'll enter a drier period. I'll tell you for how long and how these winds are going to be as we get into tomorrow. Coming up, my complete forecast. Back to you.
All right, Maria, thank you so much. 9:05 right now. Developer Rick Caruso has been very outspoken following the fires, highly critical of the lack of preparedness and the mayor's response.
Thankfully, he is joining us now, speaking to us. The only morning show you're talking to this morning. So we really appreciate your time as we commemorate this year that has been so tough for you personally and the whole community in the Pacific Palisades.
Now, listen, it's a very tough morning, and I appreciate the invitation to be on and the coverage that you're doing on this story because, as you know, the story continues to evolve in a really dramatic way. Maybe not so surprising, but in a dramatic way. And I think it's causing, even more grief for the people that lost their homes, lost loved ones, lost their jobs. As we learn more and more about the cover-up, we learn more about the fact that this fire could have been completely prevented very easily. So there's a lot of heartache in the community, and it's a day that I think is worthy of a lot of reflection, obviously, but hopefully a lot of hopefulness as we look into the future, rebuilding these three communities that were so impacted.
You were immediate in your response to what happened as it happened, and again, highly critical of the mayor. Talk about what you think she did wrong and what you could have done differently.
Well, listen, my criticism has borne out to be absolutely correct, that the fire could have been prevented if planning would have been in place. There was no plan in place. They didn't even follow typical protocols of staging a fire truck. They knew they had a fire on January 1st that wasn't completely put out, and they abandoned that post, which is really the source of the fire, that when the winds came up. So you had a previous fire, it was still smoldering. They were pulled off that fire, and they knew winds were coming up. All of us had days of warnings of these winds coming up, and it reignited, and the winds took it off. So had the mayor had a plan in place, made sure all the protocols were in place, run different scenarios of how they were going to deal with evacuating people and everything else, we would have not had lives lost. We would have not had a fire if there would have been water in a reservoir. I mean, it's almost unthinkable, the levels of mismanagement and incompetence at so many different departments, including the mayor's office, that led to so many people being impacted by this, tens of thousands of people being impacted by this. So the criticism is not criticism for the sake of criticism. It's the raw facts. And I wish a few people would stand up and say, we really screwed this up and we are very, very sorry, and take accountability for it, because I think you need that from a healing standpoint. But also what I do want to focus on, we are moving forward, and this community, not the politicians, this community, these people in the Palisades, the residents, same with Altadena and Malibu, love their communities so much. Their sheer force of love and desire to get back is going to make these communities come back. And I am so optimistic and hopeful that that will happen. And we're going to stand by them at Steadfast and at Caruso to help them every step of the way, any way we can.
You touched on a little bit of what the after action report mentioned about the Lockman fire not being completely out, and then these winds picking up, and then again the Palisades fire breaking out. So do you blame the mayor for that, or is it in fact the fire department and the lack of resources and communication that ultimately led to what happened a year ago today?
The mayor is the chief executive of the city of Los Angeles. That's the position that she holds. And she had every responsibility and duty to make sure that there was a plan in place, and meeting with all the department heads to make sure that they were absolutely ready one of the first questions I think anybody would have asked is the original fire completely out? Have you checked it twice, 3 times, 4 times? And let's just make sure, are you going to have a fire truck stationed there with firefighters in case it isn't out as the winds come up? None of that was done. So yes, she's fully responsible and has to be held accountable. Anybody who's the head of an organization has to have accountability. That's where the buck stops. But I would love to learn if there was a plan in place that she went through with the fire department, with the Department of Water and Power and everybody else. Go ahead and release all the meetings you had and all the texts that you had and all the communications that you had to make sure that you were prepared. But it hasn't come out. And then to have a cover up, to change the report, the after action report, that is absolutely cover up. And there's a culture of corruption in City Hall that has just got to go. And we've seen it for years now with city council members, now in the fire department, to think that it's right to change an after action report and remove facts is beyond thinkable for a major city like this.
You know, recovery, long road ahead. Obviously, it goes beyond just rebuilding homes, rebuilding businesses. At this point, with the Palisades and Altadena, what progress are you proud of, and where do you think the community is struggling the most?
Listen, I'm proud of what's been done by the community, and at Steadfast, I'm proud of what our team has done in terms of getting the park redesigned. The AI model that we did for plan check is a game changer for people getting plan checked in a matter of hours, not months. The small business grants that we've been giving out to keep businesses afloat in Altadena, in Malibu, and the Palisades is critical. So all those things, and giving away homes, the modular homes, they're going to start being installed for people who are elderly or lower income or completely uninsured. We're going to get them back in their communities, which is really important. So there's a lot of good things that Steadfast has done, and I'm proud of our team. But I really do believe the city needs to have some mandates. You know, plan checking is going to be done within 30 days, period. Plan checkers should be called back. They're not even reporting to their offices since COVID. There should be a bunch of plan checkers stationed out in the Palisades to make it easy on people. Anything that causes people friction to get back in their businesses, to get back in their homes, should be eliminated, period. And the city needs to have an attitude: we've got your back, we are here for you, and we're going to do everything we can to get you back in your community.
I think
I just do want to say, because I'm a very optimistic person, the attitude of what I'm seeing out there with people is terrific, in spite of all of this. And so, like tonight, when we light those lights on top of Palisades Village, that really is the lights of hope that we are now moving forward. And through the sheer force of determination, these communities are going to come back.
I think hope and a plan that you've presented is giving a lot of optimism to a lot of people in the community because of the fact that the village was saved and a lot of the ideas that you're coming forward with in terms of rebuilding. A question for you is, were those environmental impact studies done decades ago revealing in some ways that you kind of prevented things from happening or being worse than it was for your properties?
Well, listen, we were prepared, and the village shows you that if you're prepared. Had the city been prepared like we were, we had water tanks stationed there. We had firefighters, private firefighters stationed there 2 days before the winds. And we designed the place with non-combustible materials so it could withstand a fire, because we're building in a fire zone. We knew that. And so every step of the way, we were prepared. And I can tell you, when I met with my team, I said, okay, we've got a plan. Let's double check it. Let's make it even better. How many resources you have, double your resources. And that's what got not only the village through it, but we were able to save all of our neighboring buildings down the street and all the buildings across the street. So we have at least a block of downtown that has survived. And the stores have reopened there now. And I'm very proud of what our team did out there that evening and for the days subsequent to the fire. Because remember, the fire wasn't fully extinguished, believe it or not, till January 31st. It started on the 7th. And can you imagine that this fire in an urban area was allowed to burn as long as it did. It's unthinkable.
It is hard to imagine, and we all lived it and watched it, and so many of us felt helpless seeing it, but so many of us know someone, at least 10 people I can count off the top of my head, that were impacted by this catastrophe. And so we will rebuild. The community is definitely resilient, and it takes leadership to get there. We do appreciate you being with us this morning. The only morning show you've chosen to speak with, we certainly, that means a lot to us. Thank you for the work that you're doing, and thank you again for your time.
It's great. And I do believe in the rebuilding. So let's just go do it. Let's make it a great year. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. A better start this year than last year. That is for sure thus far.
That's right. Thank you so much.
All right, 9:15 still to come. We have a lot headed your way on Good Day LA. First, we got to check on the roads out there because, you know, we're back to, what is it, Wednesday,
Yes.
January 7th. Here we go.
A lot of kids back to school, and I know parents back to work. Certainly, Good Day LA Traffic is brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group Accident and Injury Attorneys. I do want to update you on this ongoing SIG alert that is still causing problems here on that 10 freeway, westbound and eastbound, being impacted by the overturned big rig here. In fact, two big rigs had collided. Here's a live traffic camera on that 10 westbound. Two left lanes on each side of this 10 freeway at Waterman, or right after Waterman, are shut down. So officials working hard to try to get the rest of those lanes open. Just keep that in mind if you are traveling on that 10 and on that the slowing caused by that SIG alert. Westbound 10 between the 5 to the 405 towards Santa Monica, a little slow, 48 minutes. Here's a look at some of the other traffic hotspots.
This broadcast is locally sponsored by DT LA Law Group, Auto Accident and Injury Attorneys. Have an injury? Text Injury Help to 40222 or visit us online at calldowntown.com. Message and data rates and usage may apply.
And welcome back to our special team coverage of the Eaton and Palisades fires 1 year later. I'm Bob DeCastro live in Altadena. I want to show you just behind me here some of the crews out here at the grocery outlet. This is going to be a rally and a remembrance ceremony that gets underway at 5 o'clock this afternoon. So a lot of activity out here at this hour, Jen.
Yeah, Bob, I'm here at Pacific Palisades Recreation Center, and I wanted to show you a backdrop. My goodness, how different life looks here 1 year later today. I mean, you can see people who are playing in the new bocce ball courts out here right behind my photographer, Tony Butita. We had children playing on a brand new playground. For so many out here, life is clawing its way back to normal, but for so many others, life has really stood still, especially for those who have not been able to make it back into their homes, and especially for those who lost loved ones in the fire. Let's go out to Coco McAvoy. She's in Pacific Palisades at a remembrance ceremony there. Good morning to you, Coco.
Good morning. We are at the Palisades American Legion. There is a very special event happening here right now. I'm speaking just a little bit quieter so I don't disrupt the event that's underway. There is a white glove flag presentation that's going to be underway, along with a remembrance ceremony honoring the victims of the Palisades fire exactly 1 year ago. And while we remember and honor the victims here of the Palisades fire, we also want to remember the people impacted by the Eaton fire. I want to introduce you to Tatris Beasley and her son, Aaron Miller. I met them exactly 1 year ago today.
This is my home. Let me tell you where everything was at.
Tatris Beasley and her son, Aaron Miller, walk around the empty lot that was once home to their cherished black and white house with red accents in Pasadena.
That's why I still come by, so I cannot forget, what was there.
Or the memories throughout her 12 years as a first-time homeowner. From birthday bashes.
Happy birthday to you.
To the annual Glen Street block parties with her neighbors. All reminding her of what was before the Eaton fire on January 7th, 2025. Now 1 year later.
So fast though. It's like, here we are again, And the emotions start picking up like,
Beasley and Miller evacuated in the middle of the night to the Pasadena Convention Center, where we first spoke with them.
When we left the home, we had all intentions of coming back. We didn't think we weren't coming back.
Then the unimaginable happened.
This is my house. Oh, God, help me.
Miller documenting it all in disbelief. All of their belongings burning in the fire, including Miller's business equipment.
I remember trying to get into the door to grab a few last minute items. I actually opened the door and I saw the fire coming from the back to the front, and it was coming fast. Yeah, so I'm glad that I didn't, but yeah.
Because I would never be the same if something happened here.
Since the fire, nothing has been the same, though. Beasley had just paid off her mortgage before the Eaton fire. Though Liberty Mutual Insurance sent her money for personal items and rebuilding, she's still in limbo.
So I'm hoping that I can, make sure I have enough finances to get the house that I want and not have to have a mortgage again.
Securing resources is also a challenge, especially for Miller, who was a tenant at the house.
I would just say the process is a little bit confusing. They don't reach out to you. You have to reach out to them and get your own resources.
Despite the hurdles, they are ready to rebuild.
My neighbor said, when you going to start? I'm waiting, but I'm being patient and trusting God.
That soon, they'll be back home with their Glen Street family.
What's his name, David?
Balam.
Balam.
And its newest member, baby Balam, born after the Eaton fire.
That's our first. This is our hope. Yeah. Our hope baby, right?
Hope for Beasley, Miller, and the whole neighborhood to turn their losses into new beginnings.
This is still a long journey,
Very.
Still a long journey for us, So, but we're here.
Such a vibrant and loving neighborhood. And you heard Tatris and Aaron say that it's still a long journey for them. And I think that's really important to note, that families still need help 1 year later following the Eaton fire. So if you would like to help that family, we do have a link to their GoFundMe page on our website, foxla.com. Reporting live this morning, I'm Coco McAvoy. I'll send it back to you, Araxia and Sandra.
Such a touching story when you think about all the memories a home can contain, and then losing it all, but then having the hope to rebuild. Such is the story of so many there in that area. Thank you so much,
Beautifully
Coco.
told, Coco.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, we have a look at your forecast when we come back. Plus, Amanda has your entertainment headlines.
So, why are all eyes on the newly named Actor Awards? It's going to take some time to get used to saying that, and the announcement's being made in the next hour. That's ahead.
And welcome back to you. I'm meteorologist Maria Quaban. This weather is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino. And what a difference this year versus last year. Last year at this time, we were talking about severe to extreme drought conditions across our state in the desert Southwest. We were only talking about 1/1600th of an inch of rain so far for the season. This year, with the amount of rain we've received, we're talking about, on this date, 14.11 inches of rain. That's almost the entire season's normal total that we have gotten in just a few short months. So we are drought-free currently for the state of California, with the exception of the small little area here, which is still drier than normal. But we are off to a great start this season. And yet, again, we have another chance for some rain because of this upper-level low-pressure system that's spinning to our south, pulling up some of that moisture over California. We have a 10 to 20% chance because most of that rain is staying offshore and into Baja and parts of San Diego. So don't be surprised if we do get some sprinkles because of that instability that's still around. We have 9.5 inches, over 9.5 inches above seasonal average. 65 should be the high temperature for downtown today, 62 in San Diego. Just a quick look at our day planner for Anaheim with that slight chance for some showers. Temperatures getting up to those low 60s, still below average. We will warm up as we get to the weekend with some offshore winds. I'll go over that and some of the advisories going into effect in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Thank you, Maria. Hi, ladies.
Hi there.
We are halfway through the week, the first week of 2026.
Yeah.
Here we
Before
go.
you know it, you'll say halfways through the year.
Oh,
because it happens
wow.
like that.
I don't know, January always near. Well, let's jump into entertainment, sponsored by Yamava Resort and Casino. The Actor Awards, the nominations are coming out in less than an hour, and they were formerly known as the SAG Awards. It's going to take some time to say Actor Awards. Well, the nominations will be announced soon on Netflix's YouTube channel, and take a look at one of the frontrunners.
From all your mom's stuff, from all my stuff, even though I know that's impossible.
This is the end of the line.
Not for you.
One battle after another is sure to be a favorite coming up for these noms. This is the first year under the new moniker Actor Awards. 160,000 plus members within SAG can vote, which means you guys can vote. No doubt we're going to be seeing lots of acting love for One Battle After Another and Sinners. Those are my two picks for getting the most nominations today. The Actor Awards will take place Sunday, March 1st at the Shrine Auditorium, and Netflix will stream the ceremony live. Another big moment for March 1st, Harrison Ford will be honored with the Guild's Life Achievement Award. Some other favorites that we're going to see in the nominations list include Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Weapons, Frankenstein, and Wicked for Good. And, you know, maybe some other surprises, because we can't say that we predict everything. We have to leave some room for the surprise.
Of course.
Which movies on that list have you seen? Wicked for Good?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Hey, look at
last
that.
weekend.
I haven't seen anything.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I'm sorry.
we've got some time. March 1st.
Yeah, that's right.
Catch up. And you can watch it because it's streaming live on Netflix.
That's true.
So you have Netflix. Win-win.
It's just going to take a while to say Actors Awards.
No, not plural. The Actor Awards.
Actor Awards. Even weirder.
After
Thank
the
you.
break.
Yeah. Let me tell you what's coming up. We are going back out live to the fire zones for our special coverage, of course, Eaton and Palisades fires 1 year later.
Today marks 1 year since the Eaton and Palisades fires forever changed these communities.
Everyone else get your people evacuate.
The damage was devastating, the recovery uneven. And for some families, the struggle is far from over.
It's all gone.
But through the setbacks, there's also been strength. Volunteers stepping up, neighbors lifting each other, communities refusing to be forgotten.
I really love being a Palisadian.
There's nothing like Altadena.
1 year later, we're taking you back to remember what was lost and to show how resilience continues to rise. Yes, welcome to Good Day LA. It is 9:30. We have our special coverage of the Eaton and Palisades fires 1 year later. I'm Jennifer Lammers, live in Pacific Palisades.
Yeah, and I'm Bobby Castro, live in Altadena. Hard to believe it's been a year, and yes, we have certainly talked to a lot of people this morning. There's a sense of frustration, anger, and also hope and optimism, and numerous events taking place across the Southland today to commemorate and remember the victims and also to demand accountability. Jen.
That's right. Here are some of those events that are happening later on today. Pacific Palisades are holding a special ceremony this morning to honor the 12 lives lost, to recognize first responders and volunteers, and celebrate the community's resilience. Later on in the evening, Altadena will be holding a candlelight vigil organized by the Altadena Chamber of Commerce and Civic Association. That's happening at 6 o'clock tonight. Meantime, survivors of the Palisades fire are planning a protest today called the They Let Us Burn at 10:30 this morning, demanding fairness, accountability, and a vision for rebuilding the communities out here. We're going to bring you extensive coverage all throughout the morning. Of course, we do have reporters stationed all throughout the Palisades and Altadena. But first, let's get over to Mario. He's in Altadena in the Eaton Fire Zone. Good morning.
Hi, Jen. That's right. We're along Cannon Boulevard. Several homes on this street alone taken out by flames 1 year ago. We've been hearing so many stories throughout the morning here on Good Day LA and seeing what's left of all this destruction. Now, this here is a plot of land, one of several that we're seeing here on the street, a sign of the work that still needs to be done. Now, take a look. The family home that once stood here, lost in a matter of hours. Fueled by strong Santa Ana winds, the Eden fire swallowed nearly 14,000 acres. It killed 19 people and destroyed more than 9,400 homes and structures. The Jones family had lived in this home for more than 5 decades, a place filled with memories and milestones until the fire took it all. And like thousands of other survivors, they were forced out, left with nothing but ashes, and the long process of figuring out exactly what comes next and still processing resurfaced feelings this morning.
Mind-blowing. You know, it's just the fact that you're standing here a year later and you're looking at rubble, you know, but the things are getting brighter. Things are moving along as far as the permitting, which took a little bit, but you got to fight.
Now, 1 year later, community members are coming together to honor those lost and recognize the road to recovery. The evening begins at 5 p.m. with a community gathering in Altadena on Lake Avenue, offering remembrance, reflection, and support for fire survivors. At 6:30, a benefit concert at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium, raising funds for long-term recovery efforts. And the night concludes with a memorial service of hope and renewal, that happening 7:30 at Lake Avenue Church. Now, for the Jones family and countless others, this has been a long recovery process. The Jones hope to be moved into a brand new house here on this lot sometime in 2027, hopefully towards the beginning of the year. For now, live in Altadena, I'm Mario Ramirez. Bob, we'll send it back to you.
Yeah, Mario, as it stands right now, only a few dozen homes have now been rebuilt 1 year later. In fact, lots of folks still displaced. Survivors, about 8 out of 10 of them, according to some last reports, are still displaced because of the fires 1 year later. Let's send it over to Brooke Thomas. She's with one organization that's trying to help folks get back inside some sort of stable housing. Let's listen in to Catherine Barger.
Yeah. Hey, Bob. We're live in the middle of a press conference, the Eaton Fire Survivors Network, and I just want you to know that the majority of the people behind Supervisor Barger are fire survivors. Watch the emotion in their eyes as she speaks.
State partners for their collaboration in service to this community, Senator Perez and Assemblymember Harabadian. Thank you. Make no mistake, they've been engaged on this issue and have taken action in Sacramento to address the challenges our community is facing. I couldn't do it without them. These efforts matter, and they show the collaboration leads to tangible results. Do you hear that, Washington? Collaboration leads to tangible results.
Right. Yes.
Recovery is not the responsibility of any single agency or level of government. It is only possible when survivors, local leaders, the county, and the state all move in the same direction. In 2026, I promise to keep this momentum going. That means supporting families as they work to rebuild, remediate their homes, as you did, Joy, and find stability in their rebuilding and recovery journey. As others have said, so many are facing gaps in their ability to rebuild. It is incumbent upon us to press for fairness, accountability, with insurance practices. But it also means ensuring all levels of government are deploying the critical resources and funding we need to rebuild our community. Don't change the rules in the middle of the game. The scale of needs dwarfs the resources the county and the state have already provided. I look forward to working with my colleagues in Washington, D.C., if you're listening, to bring supplemental disaster aid to Los Angeles County.
As that is happening, we do have some breaking news that is coming into our newsroom right now. An update on the Nick Reiner arraignment this morning. According to TMZ, his attorney, Alan Jackson, will withdraw from the case. Reiner will now be represented by a public defender. The case is going to be continued, and Reiner will not enter a plea. Alan Jackson will be releasing a statement as soon as the proceedings are over, and once that happens, we will have an update for you.
And coming up, continuing our fire coverage this morning, Jen has an interview with a business owner whose pharmacy was destroyed in the Palisades fire.
Yes, Andrew, this pharmacy had been in Gordon Wong's family for 30 years, and on January 7th, 2025, he lost everything. My interview with him when we come back.
And welcome back to Good Day LA and our special live team coverage of the Eaton and Palisades fires 1 year later. I'm Bob DeCastro, live in Altadena.
And I'm Jennifer Lammers, live in Pacific Palisades. You know, we talk about the small business owners who lost everything to these fires. Gordon Wong is one of them. He operated the Knowles Pharmacy. It had been in the Palisades Strip Mall for some 36 years. And on January 7th, 2025, he lost everything. Gordon joins us now. Thank you so much for being here this morning. I'm sorry it has been such a rough year for you.
Yes, it's really been tough. The insurance company has fit me through the washer and dryer. I finally got paid out in November, but it's been a long haul.
It's been you had to fight for it, right?
Yeah, the insurance adjuster, the insurance company Hartford, actually they're incompetent. They had me reproduce inventory loss 4 times, and fortunately, the day of the fire, my wife, who works with me, Shirley, she took pictures of the entire contents of the shelves of the store, but that wasn't good enough.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So you're doing all this groundwork, and still you're being met with an extraordinary amount of red tape. We've heard it from homeowners as well. Tell me what happened that day. Your pharmacy had been in the Palisades Strip Mall for 36 years, over 30 years. I mean, you guys were an institution here. You were truly a cornerstone of the community. It's not often that you find privately owned pharmacies in the first place. But tell me what that day was like for you.
Well, it started like any other typical day. We saw the smoke, and then a lot of my customers started evacuating, and there's gridlock on my street, Marquez on Sunset Boulevard. And so my employees, I told them to go home, but my wife and I, we worked to the end. We were the last ones to leave about 3 o'clock. And by that point in time, the gridlock on Sunset had already gone. So I got home, but unfortunately I left. I thought I would be back the next day, so I didn't grab nothing from the store. Right. So everything was gone.
Yeah, you didn't think that it would be maybe as bad as it turned out to be?
That's very true. I thought my business would be standing the next day or two, but I found the next day the whole block burned down.
Well, because you're here in the business district, right? And you wouldn't have thought that businesses like this would have gone up along with all the other homes in the neighborhoods. Just absolutely decimated your business. What has life been like for you in the 365 days since?
Well, it changed my lifestyle. I've been used to working 6 days a week, routine. Now I've been sitting like the last 11 months trying to gather all insurance data and find the insurance company. I even had met with Governor Newsom. He came out meeting at the government site and my burn site with my wife and I, and he said he tried to get the insurance company commissioner to help me. But again, the insurance commissioner can only do so much. I'm still finding the insurance company has the final say on the payment of my claim. Yeah. So I've been doing that and just fighting it. So finally, late November, I got full reimbursement, but not the full amount that I need. I was uninsured.
Right. So what are you going to do now?
That's a very good question. I hoped I wanted to resurrect my business. There was generations of families went in here. I'm still trying to find a spot. I run the spots where the rent is like 5 times what I'm paying for, or I even was offered a spot at Rick Caruso's village, but it's just small of a space, so we never came to an agreement of going further. So I'm at square one right now. That's where I'm at right now.
Have you heard from your customers? Have they reached out at all?
Oh, yes.
Do they miss you?
Yeah, I ran a lot of customers right now from the American Legion this morning, so I see a lot of them. A lot of my customers have relocated, so again, with time, I don't know if and when or how many are coming back. So, all my customer base gone, it's going to be a tough challenge. Even though I resurrect the business, I don't know, I'll get the business up to the level I had before the fire to sustain the business. That's a big issue.
That's all you want. That's all, right? Is to just come back.
Yeah. No, a lot of customers do want me to come back, but right. I got to think financially. Can I handle it?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Gordon, thank you so much. I wish you the best in this road. It's not easy, I know. Thank you so much. All right, over to you, Gigi. You're there in the Palisades as well.
That's right, Jen. I'm on iLift. This is part of the Alphabet Streets neighborhood here in the Palisades. Let me quickly show you what we're seeing today. Starting off with empty lots, so many of them. We don't know if the owners are caught up in the complicated permit process, if they're simply underinsured and haven't been able to rebuild, or have decided maybe against it. We're also seeing new construction there in the background. You can see those workers. They're hard at work. That project just getting started. And then there is this white beacon of hope here on the 800 block of iLift. Take a look at this beautiful home, about 5 months away from being ready to be occupied. They just had the stove hood delivered about an hour or so ago. This is the Cole family home. They've lived on this property for 32 years. They called it home. And that fateful day, 1 year ago today, they evacuated. They didn't get to take everything that meant so much to them, but they took some things with them. Now they're anxious to come back to the neighborhood they call home, along with so many. About 400 homes are being rebuilt currently here in the Palisades, but there are so many more that still need to be built. And there are also a lot of for sale signs from people who have decided not to come back. We'll send it to you, Bob.
You know, only a few dozen homes have been completed in both the Eaton fire burn zone and the Palisades fire burn zone, Gigi. And what's interesting about that home is that these fires will completely change the face of what these communities and neighborhoods will look like, because that home is largely, I would imagine, fire resistant.
It's definitely part of the plan, preparing for the very real possibility that something like what we saw, those 100-mile-an-hour winds, Santa Ana winds in January, could happen again. Another fire could break out. So definitely fire resiliency is part of every construction plan now here.
Yep, the homes themselves and also the topography, many of the trees that were in these areas, in these neighborhoods, they will also be gone, and we'll see more drought-tolerant sort of plants in these neighborhoods. Thank you so much, Gigi. You know, there are so many stories of heartbreak, but there's also some heartwarming stories to tell you about. We want to introduce you to a little boy who insisted to his parents that he wanted to see his home, even though they told him, we don't think it's a good idea, your home has burned to his ground. But listen to his resilience, his optimism, his hope. Well, it has inspired a children's book. Here's Susan Hirsuna.
And everything is broken and it's all lost its color.
Henry Giles was 6 years old when he approached me during a live interview to talk about the night the wildfire forced his family from their home in Altadena.
We didn't realize that our house was going to burn like this.
This interview went viral and touched hearts all over the world.
And that was our chimney where Santa comes, and now it's gone.
His mother turned Henry's words into this book, When the Skies Lost Its Colors.
When he said it all lost its color, I think it just touched so many of us. It kind of stayed with me, and I think, and also those people that reached out to us, it was very impactful, and it was pretty poetic, and I felt that it was also a way of helping my son cope and heal, and also use it as a tool to help other kids.
Advanced sales of the book will coincide with the 1-year anniversary of the Eaton fire, and some of the proceeds will go to Henry's school, Altadena Arts Magnet.
So we need to raise money because they're losing money because of the fire, and they're losing teachers, and they're losing students.
Henry read a couple of pages for me.
That's my dad's bicycle. I told a kindness lady who was asking questions. My mom's bicycle is here somewhere.
Since the fire, the family has settled into this home in Sherman Oaks, about 22 miles from Altadena. Henry now plays piano. His 6-year-old brother, Lucas, plays violin. Henry was a little worried Santa Claus might have trouble finding him and his brother at the new home.
We need a new house so Santa could find us. I wanted to make cookies for Santa to make sure he could find us. So then the next morning, he left a note, and he ate the cookies. Mom put her hand on my shoulder. We'll build again, she said.
Rebuilding might take another year or more, but just like the book, this story ends with love and hope.
They have a very beautiful Christmas. and nice gifts and everything.
Susan Hirasuna, Fox 11 News.
The survivors, even some of the youngest ones, continue to be an inspiration to us all, and fitting that many of them will be honored today, as well as honoring the victims of these fires. We will continue our coverage, our special team coverage of the Eaton and Palisades fires 1 year later. Stick with us after the break.